Alrighty, welcome back everybody. We are Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 Bush Trip, Nevada, Leg 5. We just flew this a little bit earlier today. I grabbed my controller. I'm flying with an Xbox controller, mouse and keyboard combination. We flew this a little bit earlier today and we failed. Why am I in the air like that? I don't know. Let's see what happens. What in the world? Why am I... Is this from the point I failed? Am I going to fail again? And why does it sound like I'm hearing something weird? Because I'm in the cockpit, I think. Alright, so let's do this. Get rid of that. I am full of fuel. Oh, I got somebody down there. Oh, this is where I'm landing. Well, this is weird. I wonder why it started me there. So he's in a Savage, which is what I'm in. So is the other guy. T-Killer Monsoon. Span Rumble. Okay. It almost... This is really weird. Now, like I say, I just flew this mission, or this leg. It failed. Go back and watch the video that I just posted before this one. It should be leg 5F or fail. And you'll see during this flight, I actually ran out of fuel. But I have a keyboard binding for repairs and fuel. And that will refuel you anywhere in the game. On the ground, in the air, doesn't matter. You will get refuel. Not very realistic for a flight simulator. But so, because I guess because that happened, I then touched down on the runway. Whoops. A little hard on that. And the mission failed because it said I had run out of fuel and can't continue. Well, as I was just rolling down the runway, landing, it came up and gave me that. So it didn't give me a completion. Right there. See, you failed activity. You ran out of fuel and can't continue. So I guess my only option here then, because I went back to the main menu before and then I just quit the game. So I'm going to have to hit restart here. Okay, so that's something else I did not know about. Something like that happened. You can't just click go back to menus. You didn't really crash, I guess. Well, you didn't crash at all. Just said the game can't continue because you had run out of fuel at some point during your trip. Definitely not what I expected. I mean, it's not that it's unacceptable or anything. It's, you know, and now that I know how it operates, that's fine. All right, let's go ahead. We'll get some flaps going here. And see how easy that is to do? I'm ready to take off with 9% fuel. So I'm going to go ahead and shift Control F while I'm on the ground here. 100% fuel. Now, I will not run out of fuel. So, assuming I make it to my destination and land, a little whiplash there. Come on. Sorry, I'm trying to watch my trim. There it is. And keep the thing from slamming into the ground. So I guess after that we had to actually, I don't know how else I would have restarted from the starting point. I didn't see an option. The ground traffic in here is quite comical sometimes. Seems a little weird. My ground speed or my airspeed, I guess, is only 78 knots. Normally it's going to be in the low 90s, but I guess I am climbing quite a bit. Don't need to climb quite that much. 5% right here would be good, just to get me through the pass. Alright, so I should probably bring this stuff up so we can see what we're doing. For those of you who didn't watch the previous video, so we are going from 056, right there, that's where we took off, and we are heading to 3Q0. And we zoom out a little bit, we'll see. Well, zoom out some more. 3Q0 is up here. It is 32.31 nautical miles. Should take a little over 20 minutes. So we are currently following, what are we following? We're following a highway. I want to say it's 95. So as it says here on leg 1 of leg 5, Basalt Junction. When you're in the air again, head northeast along Nevada Route 6. I guess this is 6. Toward and through Montgomery Pass. So we are currently going over or through Montgomery Pass. Continue along the desolate mountain road a few miles until you reach a junction with Nevada State Route 360 at the former town of Basalt. So far I've had a rather difficult time. I'm going to get rid of the vertical speed here, try and level off. We don't need to go any higher than we are. Wow, we're at 8,200 feet already. We can actually lose altitude here. Alright, so we are following Route 6 north, east. Montgomery Pass is now kind of behind us or underneath us. Continue along the desolate mountain road a few miles until you reach a junction with Nevada State Route 360 at the former town of Basalt. Okay, let's close that. So this will be the third time I've flown this. So I have a pretty good idea where I'm going. So let's bring that up again. State Route 360. So my guess, there may have been a former town here, and that would be Basalt. I'm pretty sure this is 360. There's no way to know. You can't really get down there and read the road signs. But there certainly seemed to be something here at some point. Is that what it says? We're actually looking for... continue along the desolate mountain road a few miles until you reach a junction with Nevada State Route 360 at the former town of Basalt. So, I'm going to say, yeah, that was a former town because there is nothing left of it now. Absolutely gone. But, so, this is State Route 360, and we're going to follow this. Whoa. That's one way to lose altitude, huh? Not pay any attention. Just keep the nose down, don't let it climb on me. Wants to climb because of my increased airspeed. We keep the nose pointing down, slow us down a bit. Bring that vertical speed trim down. Still trying to bring it down. I don't want it to be positive right now. I want it to be, I'm talking about this here. I want this to be 0. Or even somewhat negative. I don't need to be at 8,000 feet. Alright, so now we're going to Tonopah Junction. It's interesting. Here in the Phoenix area we do have a Tonopah. So we're going to head northeast. No, we're not even quite heading north here. But Route 360 Junction and twist through the hills of Mineral County, Nevada. After you pass the impressive Moho Mountain. See, this is my 3rd time flying this. Which one of these is the impressive Moho Mountain? They all look quite similar. Anyway, watch for another upcoming junction where your path intersects Veterans Memorial Highway 95 near the dried up Rhodes Salt Marsh. Watch for another upcoming junction where the path intersects Veterans Memorial Highway. Okay. So we're actually following this highway here, right? That's the one we should be following right now. And somewhere up here is going to be intersection of Veterans Memorial Highway 95. Then once we hit that intersection, follow Highway 95 north for a relatively short distance and you'll see the small town of... Alright, so that's a ways off yet. So... let's see if we can't figure this out again. So we're following 360. Twist through the hills. After you pass the impressive Moho Mountain. Moho. I wonder what that means, Moho. If that would give me some indication as to what it might look like. I mean, there's in the, I don't know if in the English dictionary, you know, moguls. I don't know if that's something similar to moho. So moguls, like ski moguls, are just short little repeating close together bumpy ridges. I mean, that could be something like that. That would be more of a mogul. So moho sounds Native American to me. So anyway, I think we're passing through here. After we pass the impressive Moho Mountain, watch for another upcoming junction where your path intersects Veterans Highway 95. So that's going to be up here somewhere, near the town, or near the dried up Rhodes Salt Marsh, not a town. Okay. We can tell these guys here. So that's the Savage. The plane that I am flying is a Savage Cub. So pretty much anytime when you see some other player in the game, because we are connected to the real world, and he's flying a Savage, he's probably flying the same leg that you are. So you can use that to your advantage. I'm assuming these guys are probably still, well, maybe not. Look at their altitude. 4,400 feet. He seems like he would be below the ground. I don't recall what it was. But anyways, yeah, you can look for other players to help you figure out where you are and what you're supposed to be doing. So I don't know if I go to, this is where we're going. If we zoom in here, if there's any, I don't see any airplanes on the, I've got one here, got one here. These two are definitely right on top. So they may be on their way to the next one. So we're still following what I think is 365 or 360. And we're going to eventually come to a intersection with 95 near the dried up road Salt Marsh. So that could be dried up road Salt Marsh right there. That looks pretty dried up. A bit on the white side, like salt maybe. Okay, well, we'll just keep plugging away here. We're still very slowly losing altitude, which is good. I do not want to be gaining altitude here. As we saw at the beginning of this, I had to lose a lot of altitude quickly. And that always seems to be the case too. Oh, there's the, you know, you're searching and searching. You finally find the airport, and you're, I don't know, 2,000 feet too high with 100 feet until the end of the runway. So we have used 8% of our fuel. Why sometimes the mouse disappears and sometimes it stays here? We got a plane up here. Oops. Okay. I believe there's a mod where I can get rid of this. It's still here, but it won't pop up like that. So that guy's really up there, whoever that is. Minimum fuel. So we could just head right for those guys, but I kind of want to follow the course. Just give me a better idea, which I'm hoping will help further down the line. I don't know if it's going to get any more difficult as far as interpreting the text in these things. And so if I can say, okay, well, dried up roads Salt Marsh, that looks like that could be what they're talking about. Now, you don't know until you get there. And then there's going to be Memorial Highway 95, which we're going to follow north for a relatively short distance, and you'll see the small town of Mina on the horizon. Well, this is going to be the small town, I guess. And to the east stands an unassuming public use airport, the next stop on your bush trip adventure. So this is going to be 95 coming in here. The airport is going to be to the right of the highway. think we're doing pretty good. Yeah. And those guys, so wow, they're really sitting there at 4,400 feet. I wonder if we're having synchronization problems. I'm going to bring my nose down, trim it down, because if they're really at 4,400 feet, I've got to lose over 3,000 feet. That looks like it's a satellite tile. Seems to be an artificial line right here. It's probably from the satellite imagery. So I'm guessing this is 95. I'm still not losing enough airspeed or altitude. .95 north, relatively short distance. And that says relatively short. I don't think we're going to need that anymore. So we have what almost appears to be two roads. This one looks like it's a newer, much larger highway, where this could be something that may not be used anymore. I don't know. Yeah, from up here it looks like it's probably pretty much abandoned and unused anymore. So we did say I can make that bigger. Okay. Yeah, definitely to the right. So I can see the strip right there. So we're going to cut the throttle some, bring the nose down some more. And they look like they're sitting at 4486, both of them. So I'm curious, once I get down there, what my altitude shows. Even when my brother and I fly, sometimes we can be right next to each other and the altitudes don't necessarily match up. It could very well be a syncing issue, Microsoft servers, or however this works, internet. Our ISPs, or just the game itself doesn't care all that much about syncing multiple players accurately. That is probably not a priority. Point that nose down a little bit more. I'm still 2,200 feet too high. Alright, let's take the throttle down to that 40 mark. I don't think I'm all that bad on the altitude compared to what I'm above right now. Overshot it a little bit. Cut the engine some more. Let's go ahead and give it some flaps so we can try to get that. Okay. Go full flaps. Bring that nose down some more. Speed is looking pretty good. Going down a little fast. Liking what I see. We're going to completely cut the engine here. We're going to go straight through these guys. Or we'll just try and go around them. So our altitude is 4560. So pretty accurate. So what's going on there? Okay, throttle is completely cut. And we'll try tapping the brakes a couple of times. If we hit the brakes, we will nose plant. This thing will flip on its nose. So we're just tapping on the controller, the Xbox controller, the Y button for the brakes. And come on, give me the completion. There we go. Leg completed. 22 minutes. Check. Another one in the books. Alrighty. Yeah. Be sure to watch the previous video, which is leg 5, where I failed, and you'll see what happens if you don't pay attention to your fuel. So thanks for watching. We are going to process this video, get it up to YouTube and Rumble, and then we'll be back to fly leg 6. Have a good one.